This is Tassia. I am the Director of Social Marketing for Century 21 Award, and I want to thank you all for making the cut to come attend this webinar. This is the first webinar in a training series called Training Wheels. It'll be happening basically every 2 weeks, and what we'll be doing is going over a series of different things, tech and social media related, and the first of which is the QR codes. So our goal with the QR codes is to understand them, then educate others, and then create. That's going to be our flow of how you guys will be working with QR codes most effectively. And really, even if you only go with understand and educate, that's great because it helps anyone who's using QR codes to have other people bringing awareness to it. So the first question is, what is a QR code and why are we using it? A QR code stands for quick response. And basically, it enables you to scan something with your phone versus manually entering data. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I have trouble with the keyboard on my phone, whether it's a touch screen or an actual keyboard. And it's very helpful for me, I've been using QR codes for a while now, to be able to instead just point, shoot, and get somewhere immediately. It's faster, simpler, and eliminates user input errors, so you don't have to worry about people remembering things to go check them later with their phone. They can check it instantaneously, and you don't have to worry about them inputting the wrong information. Just to give you guys some stats, according to ScanLife, which is one of the key companies working with QR codes now, traffic for QR codes increased 800% from the first quarter of 2010, and the retail and media industries generated some of the most scanned campaigns. Also, just to show you guys some data about the demographics, 27% of the people using QR codes are in the 25 to 34 age range, 22% are in the 35 to 44 age range. So that's about 50% is right in the range of people that, for the most part, we're marketing to as realtors. So a QR code, what is it good for? What can it hold? If you were to take your phone and scan the QR code that's on your screen right now, that will direct your phone, assuming that you've got Twitter on your phone, to send out a tweet that says that you are currently watching me at C21 Social Marketing deliver a webinar on QR codes. So to give you some examples, it can hold text, it can hold links, it can hold your contact info in a Viit card so someone can scan it and automatically add it into their phone book on their phone. It can hold a map, information for a Wi-Fi connection. It can generate a text message, an email message, a V-calendar, which is basically an event to go into someone's calendar, a PayPal Buy Now link, and many, many things for social media, including generating likes, follows, shares, check-ins, etc. So the biggest question is, what can't it do? And there's really not a lot. It's really limited by your imagination and what you would think to put in there. However, the big thing is, what should it do or what should it be? And that is mobile optimized. Mobile optimized, and I'll say it one more time for good measure, mobile optimized. If you guys have ever used your phone to go to a website that's not mobile optimized, basically what you get is a really, really tiny version of a website on your phone. And if you've got a BlackBerry, you get some garbled version of a website on your phone. Hey, Christian, I just got your text message, or your Twitter mention, watching Century 21 Social Marketing give a webinar on QR codes. Awesome. So somebody's on the edge already. So mobile optimized websites make it easy for people to get information on their mobile phone in a format that is geared specifically for those screens, for those services. If something's not mobile optimized, number one, it is frustrating. There's a lot of zooming in that has to be done. Number two, certain things don't work. Not every phone can work with Flash. So if your website is built entirely on Flash, sending someone to your website on a mobile phone is not the best idea. Some of the pros and cons in using QR codes, number one, the cool factor. I mean, you're the person, you're the agent, you're the service using this new technology that people are seeing all over the place. Like I said earlier, it's fast. It eliminates the user error input margin, instant gratification for people who are looking for something, and again, cool. You're very cool using this. Some of the cons, not everybody knows what a QR code is, which is where our next thing comes into handy. That's where the educate process comes into handy. And not everyone has a smartphone. And now I will say there is a service, I believe it's ScanLife, that has set up for any phone that's capable of taking a picture. So that includes your standard use phones, to take a picture of a barcode send it as a picture message to a phone number, and then the service will send back and say what's in that QR code, which is great. However, if that service is what's embedded in that QR code is a link, not very useful for the people who are using the standard use phones. Okay, so it is available for everyone. It's just not still as usable for everyone. Okay, so let's talk about the education process. Hopefully now you all have a bit of a grasp on what a QR code is. It's a little 2D, they're called 2D barcodes, the QRs, usually black and white, but you can use them with color, series of boxes aligned in a way that anyone can use their phone to scan it and get information instantly. At its core, that's what it is. So educating not only yourself, but also other people. The first question is, how do you use these QR codes? What applications do you use? And I put up a list. I have all 5 of them on my phone because I like to test them out. And none of them really, to me, is better than the other. I find myself using the zebra crossing, ZXing. That's the first one on there. I find myself using that the most frequently just because it's I've put it on the desktop, if you will, of my phone, so it's the easiest to access. But I found all of them to have great results. Now, if you're using, I'm using Android, full disclosure. If you're using an iPhone, pretty much all of these are usable on the iPhone as well. BlackBerry, I believe you're looking probably at ScanLife and Google Goggles. And I put the question marks at the bottom because there's a whole number of services you can use to scan these QR codes based on your preference. What, if something looks nicer to you than something else. All you need to do is go into your app market. That would be the App Store for iPhones, the app market for Droids, and BlackBerry App World for BlackBerry, and just search for barcode scanner or QR code scanner. And if you try something out and you don't like it, the good news is you can always delete it off your phone. All of these that I've put up are free. Now, there are some applications that are not free. I have no reason to use those. I like free. I'm a free person. Okay, so these are some places to get you started. And like I said, all of them, none's really better than the other. They all work equally well, in my opinion. So when you want to explain this to someone and kind of increase your cool factor by telling someone, hey, this is the new technology, this is how it works, what I recommend is that you find an example. And there's a number of really cool examples out there. Now we'll kind of go in a circle here. The first one is Home Depot. They've recently partnered with ScanLife, and they are now putting QR codes throughout their stores that do a number of things. They link to how-to videos. They link to relevant accessories if you're, say, outfitting your kitchen. They link to project guides. They link to videos. For example, this one on the screen shows a video from Martha Stewart talking about the different kind of kitchens that she's designed. Best Buy was really one of the first major companies to jump on this QR code bandwagon in the U.S. And you'll see QR codes both in their store and in their advertisement. Now, the one that you see in their store, if you scan that, this one doesn't work because the product's no longer available. But if you were to go into a store and scan the QR code that's listed on the price tag, it's going to show you product reviews. It's going to show you product comparisons. It's going to give you all the information that people want to know in the palm of their hand when they're wanting to know it at the point of purchase, right? The ones that are in their advertisements will link to movie previews for the movies that they're selling that week, or more information, more product reviews, more comparisons. The ones down at the bottom, which I now notice are backwards, sorry about that, those are all taken from Times Square. Times Square put these big displays up, and they link to 3 different things. One of them is for Made in New York, which is information about film and theater in the city. One of them is for 311, which is for the New York City information line. And one of them is for New York City Parks. So scanning each of those, and it's large enough that you can stand on the street and do it, will yield 3 different results and 3 different sets of information. And if you think about it, Times Square is really the tourist capital of New York. So what better place for a tourist to go and get a little tour guide or information about movies filming in the city or theater, or what parks they should visit than on the palm of their hand while they're in the city in the heart of New York. And then the last one, I'm sorry I don't have a better picture of it, that's taken at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. And Hard Rock, if you guys are familiar, is known for their memorabilia that they have on display. Hard Rock has since taken out all of the text in their display windows. So now all you see are whatever the memorabilia is that they have on display, plus a QR code. So you scan that with your phone, and it gives you information, whether it's a video or text or more photos, to kind of explain that memorabilia to you. So that's a very cool experience. So like I said, find a cool example to share with people how this stuff works. And the cooler the better, because you know that once people kind of touch onto that cool factor, the more that they'll really want to glom onto this technology and start using it. And that's really the first step for everyone, is to understand how to use it before you start using it. That's the biggest barrier. And the good news for people like you and I is that we have very large companies, Home Depot, Best Buy, Times Square, New York, bringing awareness to this so that we don't have to be the ones to go out and kind of share the awareness. A lot of people are getting pretty familiar with what these things are. So once you've gone through the process of educating people and helping them understand what they are, the next thing that you're going to want to do is create them. Now, they're very easy to create. The one thing that you want to keep in mind is that you want to make sure that these are usable. So a QR code that's good is going to lead to relevant information that is usable and desired now. Think of that Best Buy example, getting the product reviews and product comparisons. Think of the Times Square example, getting information about the city while you're in the heart of it. A bad QR code is one that's just going to take you somewhere generic, somewhere not specific to the information that a client is looking for, and most importantly is one that's non-mobile. That's what you want the most, is to make sure that this information is mobile. And I've listed a number of websites there for you to go and create your own QR codes. My favorite is the first one, qrstuff.com. There's also the KWA site, Likeify we'll take a look at, Bitly we'll take a look at, Google will take a look at. We're going to take a look at most of these to see kind of how they function. The great thing about QR codes is that they're free to create. You can most definitely pay for a service where you'll maybe get a little bit more data and analytics. But for the most part, you want to make these. It's instant. Make it very quickly. Test it, print it, slap it on your stuff. You're good to go, and it's free. No output cost to you. So what we're going to do now is jump into the internet here, and we're going to take a look at first a couple of these different websites and talk about how to create QR codes. So this one, like I said, is my favorite, qrstuff.com. And if you look, we've got a list here that says data type. There's a whole bunch of different data types that you guys can create. So for example, if I wanted to create a text message, I'm going to click on SMS message, and it's going to ask me to input my telephone number. And then it's going to ask me to input the data of the text message. Hi, Tasha. We'll see how fast Christian is. Cool stuff. And you'll see that as I type, it's updating my QR code. Now, if you want to test this as you go, the great thing about having a preview, you guys can't see this, but right now I've got my phone out, and I've opened up my QR code scanner. And I'm going to scan my code and make sure it works. And I'm going to click Send SMS. And I just sent a text message to myself. Okay? So you want to make sure that you test them before. Same thing with email message, and this is a very cool one. Type in the email address that you want it to go to. Type in the subject, hi, I need more info, and then type in the body. Now you'll notice that the more information that you put in here, the more you'll get kind of detailed in your QR code. Let's see who texted me. I'm not sure whose number ends in 9153, but I got your text message. So the more data you input, the more dense this information is going to get. So I'll just put kind of a nonsense email in here. And you notice how immediately that gets more dense. Now it's important to think about things like this because you want to make sure that it's large enough that you're able to scan it clearly with your phone. You don't want to have this be so tiny that it doesn't scan clearly. Okay? So a good example of using kind of this body message and not have it get quite so detailed, you might write something like input contact info questions here. So now it becomes a prompt for a client when they open this up in their phone to get rid of this text and replace it on their phone with their own. And I see I've got a question here from Christian. Let me bring that up. Where did it go? Hang on just a moment. Questions. Christian, your question just says me. I don't know what that means. So, oh, it's from you. The text message came from Christian. Awesome. Okay, so another way would be to do a Google Maps location. So this is pretty cool. If I wanted to direct them to, say, the Escondido office or one of my properties and put it on a listing flyer, click Go. What it's going to do is it updates the map and then updates the QR code. So if you were to scan that and you've got Maps program on your phone, it's going to give you the option to open up in Maps. And then if you're like me and I can use my phone to navigate as GPS, I can then get turn-by-turn directions from my phone from this QR code. Same thing with the social media. Here's the status update that you guys saw that I put up there earlier. You could link it to a profile to have someone go to your Twitter account or to your Facebook page, or to generate a Facebook like, to direct them to your LinkedIn profile, to direct them to a Foursquare venue, anything like that. Okay. Let me check and see if I've got any other hands up while I'm kind of going through here. Looks good so far. Okay, so that's the QR stuff website. Now, like I said, this one's my favorite. We'll take a real quick look at the other one that I mentioned, QR code. There we go, from KWA. You'll notice that it's essentially the same, but a little bit more limited in the information that you can create. And then this one doesn't look like they're giving a preview anymore. Okay, so a little bit more limited. I don't know really why you would choose anything over QR stuff other than it's free. So we're going to take a look now at the one called Likeify. Now, Likeify is very cool because what that does is it creates a site with a like button on it for your Facebook page. So, for example, I've got my Century 21 award. I want it to go to the website for Century 21 Award on Facebook. It lets me put up a logo, as you guys can see here. Puts a little like button on there. If you've already liked the page, it comes up as a checkbox. If you've not liked the page, it's a blank like button, and then you're able to click like and like the page. Now, if you guys have seen the flyers that are on the front desks of the offices, they have this like button on there. It gives people the ability to just scan, connect immediately as long as they're using Facebook on their phone. And then whether on Facebook mobile or on Facebook at their computer, they'll start to see things from your Facebook start to show up in their stream because they've liked your page. They've become a fan of it. That one's very cool, called Likeify. You can create multiple on there. It'll show you the Century 21 has 45 views. It has 2 likes based on it. 1 request for info based on it. So very cool things that you can do with that. About the Likeify, they were originally used by Nike to instruct these people. I think this was somewhere in Germany, I think, to go on this run that when they ran it, it came out shaped like a dog. So this was originally used by Nike. Very cool. And then the 2 other that we're going to talk about, the first one is Bitly. Now, a lot of you, I know, are using Bitly to shorten your links. You can also use it to track. So I can see 7 people clicked on a link that was posted about the royal wedding, 5 about the royal wedding, a bunch of zeros in there. Now, the cool thing that Bitly's been doing recently is they've been adding QR code generation automatically. So if I were to look at the information page for this royal wedding, it generates for me a QR code automatically that I can just right-click, copy the image, and add it into my marketing materials, slap it on whatever I want. And it'll also let you know, if we look at this one here, if anything has been scanned. This QR code has been scanned 1 time. So if we're being honest with ourselves, I know that analytics is something that's very important to us in theory, but not something that we necessarily check up on all the time. So Bitly is one of the websites that will let you get analytics for free. If you want analytics with the QR stuff, you have to sign up for an account. So it depends on, are you actually going to check these analytics? Is it then worth it for you to pay for an account or to go through a service like this, where it's going to be traceable, or is analytics something that you, in theory, would love to be able to keep an eye on, but maybe not necessarily in practice? Okay. And then the last one that we're going to look at is Google, goo.gl. Now, Google is a lot like Bitly, where what it's going to ask you to do is input a long URL, and it's going to make a short one for you, and then it'll also kick out a QR code. So you can see here I created a long URL. It creates a short one for me, plus it creates a QR code for me as well. And then this will let me track the scans as well. Okay. So my favorite still being QR stuff, just because it's the most kind of vibrant. You have the most options. I don't know that we looked at it, but with QR stuff, you can actually embed colors into what you're doing. So, for example, if I wanted this to instead be purple or blue or yellow, you can kind of play around with the colors as well. That's something that you have an option with there. So now that we know how exactly to create these, let's talk about where you're going to want to use them. Okay? So your DIY strategy, if you're going to do this yourself, what you're going to want to do is add relevant information to your marketing materials. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up another PowerPoint real quick. Hang with me for just a quick second. And if you guys noticed from the Social Marketing at Century 21 award page, we will be adding QR codes to our flyers. So right now, if you were to look at the flyers that we have available, from current slide, this is what they look like when you put them out there, right? You enter in your MLS number, it spits out this for you, which is great, very exciting. However, and this is something that I actually just finished up yesterday, when this is all completed, I'm not sure what the turnaround is going to be for terabits to handle the output of this, but it's been sent into them, so hopefully soon. What we are going to have available are flyers with the QR codes already pre-embedded into them. So you'll have the opportunity of creating a flyer like this, and then inputting the address for the map, a link for a virtual tour, and a link to get more info. Now the map will obviously take you to a map of the property. The virtual tour will take you to a virtual tour, preferably that's on YouTube. I haven't had the ability to test them with things not on YouTube yet. You know, I know some of you use virtual tour services, but ideally your virtual tour will end up on YouTube because I know that works properly. And then the get more info will be like the email that I showed you guys earlier with a prompt for enter more information here. So we'll just take a quick peek. Here's the first template. As it loads up, here's our second template. Here's our third template. Fourth template. And fifth template. So it's pretty much exactly what we have, just with a little bit of design change, and we put those QR codes in them. Those will be coming down the pipe to you hopefully soon. I don't have an idea of the turnaround right now. But like I said, if you want to create your own and add them into your marketing materials, you definitely can. So let's talk about relevant information to add on to them for your flyers, just like we've got here. A link to a map, link to a virtual tour, a link to more information, and if you want, you could always put a link to or a like for your personal Facebook or for your Facebook business page. You could add that in there as well. You could also create a sign and just print it out and put it in the window of your property. And that sign could say something like, see inside now, with a code on it. And when you scan that code, virtual tour or photo tours. Okay? You could always either purchase or append your sign writers to include the information, email or text message in the virtual tour. And then what you're going to want to do, just to cover your bases, is add some sort of help text near your QR codes to let people know if they don't have a smartphone, here's how to access this. So if we look real quickly at this one, down here, this tiny text that's a little bit hard to see. Let me get us full screen here. Don't have a scanner on your smartphone, go to your application market and search for barcode scanner. So that's pretty good boilerplate text for you guys to add on there just to cover your bases and let people know if you don't have the ability to use this technology right now, it's really easy. Here's how it works. Okay? Same thing if you were to add a QR code to your business card. Now, I'm a little bit back and forth with QR codes on business cards because generally people tend to put a QR code on their business card that links to their website, which is static and really not anything that's compelling. But what might be a great idea would be to make an introduction video of yourself and put a QR code on your business card with that intro video on it and maybe some text that says, "Get to know me now," or "Let me introduce myself." That way your business card now becomes interactive and alive and helps somebody with what the purpose of a business card is, which is introducing yourself, right? Using a car magnet. I know you guys are a big fan of putting your name and affiliation and your contact information on your car, but what about adding a QR code? A good example would be adding the QR code to like your Facebook page, or maybe one a little bit larger. The idea is this is going to be used more in a parking lot than in the freeway. But maybe something that says, "Check out my local video of the week." And if you're a video person and thinking about highlighting different services, making a video every week and putting it up on your YouTube page so that someone can see. Or one that says, "Get more information on the San Diego real estate market now," and have it linked to an email or a text message. And then for those of you who are still utilizing direct mail, which is still a very important part of your marketing piece, including a video, a virtual tour, an introduction, information about the area, including a map to wherever this property is if it's not in the immediate area of where you're sending your direct mail to. Okay? Now I want to show you guys one website that's very cool. This website is called Viit. So let me close up these other windows here. This website is called Viit. It's VUOO.IT, and currently it's free. Now I say currently because based on what I've seen coming out from them, they do have plans to create a not free version in the future. However, right now it's free and it's pretty cool. Basically, what this will let you do is create single property mobile websites for free. Now when you get started, it's very easy. It took me all of maybe 3 or 4 minutes to sign up. And what it's going to do is basically prompt you for information that's going to take this and make this the experience that somebody gets on your website or when they scan a QR code. Okay, so it makes your website mobile. So if we go into, just to show you guys what the create looks like, it's going to ask you for the long web page, and you guys can use the web page, the property page from Century 21 Awards website. That's perfectly fine. In fact, that's what I did for the example. And it's going to ask you for the property address, city, state, etc. What it's going to do when you click Save and Continue is it's going to pull all sorts of information from that website. So let's look at my views here. So what it does is it, number one, creates a QR code for you. It makes handy little share links so you can share it very quickly to Facebook, Twitter, email, etc. And then it gives the property information. You have the ability to write a title for it, to write a description for it. It's going to put your contact information in the site as well as if you want your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, your website, all of that. And then it's going to automatically pull pictures from the original website that you put in. So this is just a test that I've used. And you get to name all these pictures. So I kind of went through a series of them and added a little description. Okay. So now when somebody's on the Viit website, when they scan this QR code, what they see is a very clean, let's see if this will work and let us see the mobile version of it. I think it's going to redirect me. Yeah, if somebody goes to that link and they're not on a mobile service, it redirects them to the big website, which is nice. Not nice because I really wanted you guys to see what it looks like in the mobile, but this is pretty much it. You can have your picture there, your license, all of that stuff. Like I said, totally free. Took me, once I set up my account, all of maybe 2 or 3 minutes to add a website to it, so also, or to add my view, my little pictures and all that to it, so also very, very cool. And it automatically creates the QR code for you that you then copy and paste and put into your own marketing, okay? If you guys are using a service like Microsoft Publisher to create your flyers, I know a lot of you are, this is just another picture that you would add into your Publisher file. If you're using the templates in Broker Agent Admin and you don't want to wait for it to become automated, this is just another picture that you would add to your template, okay? So let's see. Now let me talk about one other thing, because I know some of you are inclined to just go out and pay somebody to do this for you, and that's totally fine. However, I wanted to give you guys some tips on the purchasing. And the first thing is you should never pay anyone to create a QR code. If that's all they're doing is making a QR code for you, you're basically just handing them money because QR codes are free to create. However, you can pay them for the material that it goes on, the sign writer, the flyers, the car magnet, etc. Now I want to let you know, I was at the Century 21 convention in Las Vegas in March, and there were a ton of people selling QR codes on sign writers and all of that. And I was with an agent that bought one, or I wasn't with her, but I saw it later when they were delivered. And I scanned it with my phone because I couldn't wait to see where it went. And lo and behold, it went to a website that was not mobile enabled. And these are printed metal sign writers that are not very easy to change, sort of pasting something over the top. So if you are going to go out and pay for something, make sure that it's going to go to a mobile website. If the people that you're buying it from are not asking you, you know, is this mobile enabled? Do you have a mobile enabled website? Go look somewhere else, because once you print them, what are you going to do with that sign writer now? It's created, right? So there's nothing wrong with paying for the materials. Just make sure that you're paying for a QR code that's going to come to you on something, a sign writer, a flyer, a magnet, etc. Okay? So what I'm going to do right now is open it up for questions. We haven't really had any asked over the course of the webinar, which I don't know if that's good or bad. But feel free to either use the raise hand function on your GoToWebinar little central there, or type in a question in there. And if there's no questions, I'm just going to assume that you guys are all ready to go. Let's see. So would it be possible to get the presentation with the website URLs, etc.? Absolutely. I'll be sending those out to you guys probably within the next day or two. And I did record this webinar, so hopefully the recording came out okay, and you'll be able to watch it over and over again and share it with people who weren't able to make it to the webinar live. Any other questions? Cool stuff. I've been meaning to do this. Hope to use it soon. Cool. Absolutely. I'd love to see what you guys create when you do create something. So please feel free to share it with me. Headphones sound like I'm in a tunnel. It is being recorded. I don't know what the recording will come out like, so I hope the tunnel effect wasn't for everybody. Maybe it's just your headphones. Anything else? I'll give it another second or two for questions to come in. On the flyers, are the QR codes branded to each agent that creates the flyers? Yes, so when the flyers are created, what's going to happen, let me get back to Facebook so we can take a look at those. The flyers actually, the information embedded in the QR codes is going to be generic. Okay, so let me pop back in there real quick. Hang on. So looking at this one's going to go to a map. That's all it's going to go is to a map. Okay, so there's nothing in terms of your personal information that's going to be useful there. The virtual tour, that's going to be for you to input the URL. So if you made a virtual tour, input the address for it, and the virtual tour one will populate. If not, there'll be no virtual tour to display. And then to get more info, from what I understand from Terabits, you guys will have the ability to determine what goes into that QR code. So this one right here, what it does is I set it to go to the address of me, set it to go to my address. You'll direct it to go to your email address, or if you have someone, if you have a buyer's agent, or if you have an assistant that you'd rather the emails went to, you can determine that it goes to them. You determine the subject line. So a good blanket would be, you know, just the address of the property. And then the body, you determine what goes in the body as well. Remember, like I recommended, you'd probably want to put a prompt in there for them to input their own contact information, questions, and all of that. Okay? So there's really, other than the get more info, there's nothing really personalized about the QR codes on there. It's more about delivering information immediately to the client. Okay? Not a lot of personal information that gets embedded in there. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys for attending this first webinar in the Training Wheels. Let's see, so if we don't have a virtual code, the virtual tour, does the QR code appear? No, if you don't have a virtual tour, the QR code won't appear there. Okay. However, I want you guys to remember, and this will be a good segue into the final thing here, Century 21, not award, but international, has created a virtual tour video based on your photos for every property that's in Crest, so every property that we have. So if I were to look up, let's see, 5385 La Jolla Mesa, C21 houses for sale, they have several different accounts. So every property that is in our system, they've gone ahead and made a quick, just based off your pictures, virtual tour. Okay? So I encourage you guys to go to YouTube, search by the property address, or try searching your name and see what comes up. And you do have a virtual tour created for you, courtesy of Century 21 Award or Century 21 International. Okay? So I thank you guys, and hopefully your recording of this came out well. And I'll be sending you the slides and all the information, and look forward to seeing what you all create. So have a fantastic Friday and a phenomenal weekend, and I will see you all later.